Hello and welcome to this edition of Minstrels on the Block, where we bring you the finest singer-songwriters in the Valley area. I'm your host, Brian Mallard, and this week's special guest is Mr. Jamie Freed.
Hey,
Jamie,
Brian.
Great to have you on.
Great to be here.
So tell me about yourself, Jamie. Where were you born?
I was born in a little town called Vienna, Georgia. It's
Heard
a
of it.
big, farming community, cotton, peanuts, stuff like that. Grew up on a farm down there.
Nice. Run through the fields when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, I wasn't working all the time. My dad had me working most of the time down there. So.
Running through the fields is more fun than working, trust me. So what did your parents do?
My dad was a farmer, and my mom, was like a bookkeeper. And
Nice.
she works for the school system, still in the same small town. That one red light.
One red light.
It was great to grow up in that small town because anytime you needed directions, if any tourists came through or whatever, you just say, go to the red light. And that's it, because there's only one red light. So.
They never have to worry about whether they have to count the first light because there's only one.
That's right. That's right.
Well, tell me about your parents. Were they were musical at all?
No, neither one really were. They could play the radio. That's about it. Neither one. I grew up singing in church, and I saw Chuck Berry on television when I was like 10 years old. And just fell in love with the guitar and music. They did have a passion for music. They had a lot of albums. My mom used to allow my sister and myself to go to the record store every week and actually buy 45s and albums if we were really good. So every Saturday, and I miss records.
Diana has a
Show
record
my age
store.
a little bit.
I still have a record player and a collection, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. My dad and my mom, my grandparents, my sister, they were all really eclectic when it came to music. My dad liked like Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson and like Paul Simon and stuff like that. So kind of country folk type stuff. And my mom was into pop music in the late 70s and early 80s, like ELO and Toto and stuff like that. So, and John Cougar and whatever when he was John Cougar. And then my sister had like AC/DC records, but it would have like Prince in the time. And then my granddad listened to like really old like Hank Williams Sr. and like Red Sovine and stuff like that. So I got all these influences from different places and just kind of grew up appreciating all forms of music.
And that's great because for a musician who's going to play music, it's important to if you're going to evolve in music to have a nice eclectic.
Absolutely, absolutely. You never know what you're, just cutting yourself off from if you just stay in that one little box.
Exactly.
And so I've loved everything from the blues to hard rock, and then got into acoustic stuff and classical bits, jazz, and I'm still exploring new music. I have a 19-year-old son, and he turns me on to great new bands all the time. So,
Yeah, very cool.
It's cool.
So, when did you decide that you wanted to play music?
Oh, probably just right away. I always wanted to play guitar. I got a guitar for kindergarten in 1979, and it was a Roy Rogers guitar that my mom bought from the Sears catalog. And I beat the crap out of that thing until I was about 12 years old.
Wow.
Never had a lesson, couldn't play. I would just go, no, 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 no. And because I never put it down, they thought I would just quit eventually.
Right, yeah.
But I annoyed them so bad for all those years that they got me lessons, and I took for about 6 months and joined a band when I was about 12, played my first show when I was 14, and I'm in my 20s now, and I've never stopped.
Cool. Now tell me about your writing.
I've always played in cover bands and stuff like that. I did writing here and there growing up, and I just never really did anything with it until really a few years ago. A friend of mine in Albany, Georgia, in Leesburg actually, where Luke Bryan's from, he had a lot of connections and stuff, and had a band called Running Down Romance, and he wanted to do some writing with me, and we wrote several songs, like 6 or 7 songs. He already had about 3 finished, and we put out an album and toured on it and had a lot of fun. And since then, I've always written like pieces of music, but Dan helped kind of fill in some of the blank spaces, and I did the same for him. So But you know, I think the key thing about writing, what I've learned up until this point, is to just keep writing and keep writing and keep writing. You know, there's going to be a lot of bad songs, and you'll find that one good.
Oh
one.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And every great songwriter has a stack of songs over here this tall that's
Right.
no good.
Exactly, right.
Now, tell me what you write from. When you write, what's your muse? What's your what's the word I'm looking for?
Inspiration.
Yeah, inspiration, yes.
Well, it really depends. A lot of times, like when I went into the Running Down Romance situation, you know, Dan would have ideas, and then I would just get behind, you know, kind of envision that idea and get behind it, and just kind of, you know, I always write from the heart, no matter,
You're right.
you know, but at the same time, you know, a lot of times we'll just, I've come up with like a story, just a fictitious story, and I create this character, and this is what he goes through, and just I write out basically a storyline, and then go back through and, you know, make it rhyme.
Make it purdy.
And, you know, I mean, life has its ups and downs and everything, so everybody writes about, you know, women.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that, or experiences.
That's the theme.
Yeah, right.
Chicks, dude, chicks.
Right?
Now, going back a little bit, when you started playing music, what made you keep doing it, or did you just always know that you were going to keep doing it?
I don't think it's something that, you know, a real musician could ever give up, you know, or just stop. Even when I don't play shows anymore, you know, I'll still play, you know,
Right.
I'll still write. Even whenever I've had, you know, too much of a corporate job to play as much as I would like to, I still would play if it in a show here or there, or just as long as I play every day. You know, I think it's something that just kind of fulfills your soul, and I think it's something that anybody who really will call themselves a musician, it's not something they do. They have to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Like breathing.
yeah. I mean, it really is. You know, it's something I could never see, you know, stopping.
Right.
You know, even if I don't play shows anymore, I'll still write and I'll still play. It just might be on my couch.
Yeah. Well, that's the basics for music. You know, you've got to do it for yourself before you do it for other people.
Absolutely.
Now, earth-shattering, earthquakey, war starting. The question of the show.
All right.
Elvis or the Beatles?
Elvis or the Beatles?
Elvis or the Beatles?
What? Who's better? Who's cooler? Who's got better material?
Well, for you, what's your use a Jason Azellism here? What's your knee jerk? Elvis or the Beatles? What's
I would go the Beatles. And it's tough because that's a tough choice. Elvis was the coolest. I mean, there's just, I don't know. I can't imagine anybody being cooler than Elvis. He never took a bad photo, even when he was all bloated. You know, he was just ultimately cool. But man, the Beatles they changed music. They never stayed inside one box. You know, with every album there was a progression. They really just invented so many different types of music that are still played and you know, broadened upon today. You know, they were just groundbreaking to me.
Yeah.
Of course, he was the king of rock and roll. I don't know. That's a tough question.
Well, there's no wrong answer.
No, there is no wrong answer. How about Zeppelin? There you go.
Well, we have had
I'll go Zeppelin.
We have had similar answers. Tell you what, let's check out some of this, and we'll be right back after this.
The song's called Still. Just looking back so long ago, seems only yesterday when we slow danced across the kitchen floor. We swore our lives would forever be. Spend hand in hand with each other through the long summer days. 'Cause God has sent me an angel, and I sent her away. Still I wonder, do you think of me? 'Cause I still see you when I close my eyes. Still I hold you in my every dream at night. 'Cause I was just too blind to see. I'll open up my eyes and see the light. Still I hold you in my every dream at night. Oh, still. We spent our night, all August nights. We burn much hotter than the sun. I remember smiles and country miles, so sure two would become one. I remember her smile, her beauty and her grace. 'Cause God has sent me an angel, and I sent her away. But still I wonder, do you think of me? 'Cause I still see you when I close my eyes. Still I hold you in my every dream that night. 'Cause I was just too blind to see. Open up my eyes and see the light. Still I hold you in my every dream at night. Oh, still. Oh, still. Oh, still. Oh, still.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Special guest, Jamie Free. So Jamie, tell me a little bit, maybe leading up to what you got going on now.
Well, for the last couple of years after I left Running Down Romance, I was playing lead guitar and singing backup with them. When we did do a few cover songs here or there, I might sing a song or two. But since then, honestly, the traveling got to be a bit much, and that life's pretty rough. So I've just been playing a lot of acoustic music. I really love my acoustic guitar, and you know, I guess the older I get, the more comfortable I get with just being, I don't know, a little more mellow, I guess. You know, you can still rock out on it and everything, but you know, it allows you to kind of create whatever mood you want.
Yeah.
To me, you know, you can't like crank out a Marshall and then do like some, love the W songs, so, you know. But so I've been playing a lot of acoustic music around Columbus and just the South, really. Mm-hmm. You know?
Very cool. Now, in your when you were rocking out and stuff, what kind and what kind of, like, you do covers and stuff?
Sure.
What's the mainstream? What's the main line of covers that you do? What type of music?
What I used to, well, I mean, you know, whenever I was in my teen and 20 years and stuff, we did pretty hard rock, honestly. But you know, the older I got, I actually had like a kind of a Southern blues band at one point, and when I was with Running Down Romance, we did. When we do covers and stuff, we try and even create a variety there. We would do some country music, but then we would play, Sublime and stuff like that, because we all had diverse interest in music,
Right.
and if you look at what's happening in music today, a lot of that's being incorporated, together. Even country and rap is finding its own niche and genre and everything. So now, just like we discussed before, I love so many different styles of music that when I play an acoustic show, I'll kind of just ask the audience what they want to hear and try and cater to them, because I like it all. I like to sing Bob Seger and Jimmy Buffett and Van Morrison and stuff like that. But I know some Wilco, and I know some more independent type stuff. Ryan Adams, I'm a big fan of, and some of the newer kind of country artists. I do some Jackson Browne and some Eagles and stuff that
Very cool.
I think that aren't played enough. And when you go out and see a band, man, there was some good artists, back then. So I keep an open mind, and I'm always learning new stuff to put on me.
You've got a veritable casserole of music.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely, absolutely.
Is there anything that you won't play?
No, I get weird requests all the time. Last night, a woman wanted me to sing Ella Fitzgerald. I mean, I love Ella Fitzgerald, but I mean,
Yeah, we understand.
and then Lady Gaga. I'm like, no, I will. That's it. There you go. I will not ever play Lady Gaga. Ever. So.
Freebird. No.
Poker face, right? Maybe I will. Maybe I will. If I do, I'm going to make it my own. I'll tell you that. So
now, the standard question that the teachers and instructors always ask the students, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, I'm working on an album now. I've really got it completed. I was recording it in the studio, and the studio actually went through some financial difficulty, and so I had to move that to go somewhere else. And I really haven't found a good place to record it, as of yet, or a place that I'm comfortable with. I think when you are recording music, they're your babies and stuff, and you want to really, feel comfortable. And you have to be able to afford it. So I want to continue to write and record, but I don't know. I'll probably settle down a little bit in the next 5 years.
Less shredding and a little more acoustic.
Yeah, a lot more acoustic.
Well, let's say you're walking around the house on a Sunday afternoon and you're drinking a glass of tea or whatever. What are you most likely to be listening to? Here comes the list, folks. What are you most likely to be listening to on your wax cylinder, 78, 33, 45, 8-track, cassette, CD, or otherwise MP3 delivering device?
All right. Wow. It really depends on certainly what mood I'm in, but that's tough. Well, I was listening to like the Eagles discography the other day. I was playing Hotel California, which is a perfect record from start to finish, and then I actually changed it to Billy Joel. And I know that might seem, I don't know, when especially on a Sunday afternoon, I kind of want to relax. That stuff relaxes me. But I still, man, I always throw on Back in Black, or I'm not dead yet.
Well, Billy Joel. Billy Joel's cool. If you get the 52nd Street album and you play side B, well, CDs, I don't know what side B is, but if you play the second half of the CD, it's like a jazz album. It's really cool. There's some really good stuff on there.
It really is. In fact, it was Billy Joel who introduced me kind of into jazz, with that heavy saxophone sound and stuff. Really turned me on to, stuff like Miles Davis, even though he wasn't a saxophone player.
Right.
It opened my mind to a lot of stuff in the jazz world that, I don't know, changed my life. I'll throw on some Miles Davis kind of blue on a Sunday afternoon and just crank it up and relax and clean up the house, pet the dog.
Now, here's a double question. I was listening to some Elton John recently, and Greatest Hits Volume 2 has got some fantastic stuff on there. And it's the original arrangement. If you get it now, it's a different arrangement. But, There's a song on there called "Someone Saved My Life Tonight," and I was like, somebody actually wrote this. This is fantastic. What do you think, A, is the best song that was ever written? And B, what do you think is your best song that you've ever written?
Ooh, they're not getting easier, are they?
No.
Excuse me. Wow, the best song ever written? Oh, man. Probably Stairway to Heaven, you know. I mean, it's such a epic song, you know, I don't know, that's tough. I wish you just said like the best Elton John song.
We don't make things
Go
easier.
there, that's easy. Probably, I would say probably Stairway to Heaven. It's just such a great song. I mean, it's brilliant. You know, you can't just be average and write that song.
Yeah.
Anybody, when you can hear the solo, you're not a guitar player, and you can think about it and hear the solo in your head. You know every note to a guitar solo.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. You know? The best song I've ever written, probably a song that I did with Running Down Romance called Cap Brown. It was kind of what we discussed before. We came up with this idea of, you know, the economy got really bad. I was working a corporate job for about 6 years, and you know, I went into playing music full time, and being on the road out of necessity.
Yeah.
You know, we were playing most every night and doing a lot of traveling. We met a lot of famous people and opened up for a lot of great guys, met a lot of cool folks. It was a really good time, but you know, money wasn't great.
Yeah.
And times were hard, and we came up with this idea. We call the character John, and he lost his, you know, just kind of was fed up with the system and fed up with the way life had been treating him, so he kind of decided to rob his hometown, you know.
Nice.
So he put on a ski mask and robbed his hometown. You know, he kind of just, his girl broke his heart, and he just, you know, it was just it was kind of a romantic story, even though it was certainly, you know, fiction, you know, fictitious. But a lot of people, you know, you can see it on the news. You know, they lose their minds. So, but it was something that was really, I think creative, and the music behind it, I think, really captures the lyrics. And
Cool.
And I had a lot of fun writing that song with my friend Dan Crowder.
Excellent. Let's check out some more Jamie, and we'll be right back after this.
Song's called When I Fall Down. She knows I walk on eggshells in the corners of the night. Build my walls of brick and mortar, write my songs by candlelight. I swam across the blackest ocean to find I had the blues. I got this vision of red inside my head and nothing left to lose. And all the favorite songs play out on the radio. All day long they taunt my worry mind. She's out drinking at the bars, laughing and joking with her friends. Bit by bit, and I come to an end. But when I fall down, you just get right back up again. She said September is over, put on your October smile. Draw the blinds and pour another, and let's make love for a while. She left me here with nothing more than cigarettes and wine, and a long list of her reasons of why us became you and I. But all her favorite songs I play out on the radio, and all day long they taunt my worried mind. She's out drinking in the bars, laughing and joking with her friends. Bit by bit, I fall apart again. And I don't know if I can just get right back up again.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Special guest Jamie Free. This is the part of the show where we pimp stuff. This is the pimping section of the show, the shameless self-promotion. So Jamie, tell everybody out there watching everything that you want them to know about. Where they can see you play, where they can find you, where they can find, old CDs that you've recorded.
All right, that's cool. If you want to find old CDs that I've done, you can look on Facebook and look up Running Down Romance. And they have a CD after I left the band, but I'm sure they still have the CDs I was on, and I'm sure my buddy Dan Crowd would be glad to sell you one. And you can look me up on Facebook as well. I have a music side as well as my personal page, just Jamie Free. And most of my pictures, I just cut my hair, so if I got long hair in the picture, I'm the blonde guy with the sarcastic smile on. So. I play at the Suite every Thursday night. That's on Sidney Simons Boulevard. I love the people over there. It's a really good atmosphere in there. Everybody just comes there to have fun, It's one of the few places I've found that just kind of go with the flow, and I get to play a big variety of music. Play to a variety of people, You'll see younger folks in there, older folks in there, so that's really cool. And I play at Picasso Pizza downtown on Broadway. At one point, I was doing a couple shows there a week, and I just talked to a friend, and I'll probably pick that back up pretty soon. Nice. Other than that, just look me up on Facebook, and you can always catch me around somewhere.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of questions I'd like to ask. One is, what do you think of the local music scene?
I think it's really good. I think it's gotten a lot better, and I think it's continuously getting better. Mm-hmm. From what I consider local, some friends of mine in Albany have a group called UBL, Unbroken Bloodline, and it's this culmination of different people. I mean, not only races, but different styles of music coming together. They're a great group, and they played here in town on Broadway maybe a week or two ago. They were at Chaos's Club. I had a show, I wasn't able to make it. Mm-hmm. But what I really like, my son, like I said, he's 19, and he and a lot of his friends in town, really listen to kind of a big variety now. Even their music now will go, you'll hear stuff that's acoustic, and their next song will just be really aggressive and stuff. And I kind of like the mix of no boundaries type stuff that's going on. Mm-hmm. And I think the level of musicianship has certainly rose over the years. The bands that I see that are local now, they're not just they're banging away making noise. They're playing good music, and they really have technical ability. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they're playing with emotion, but they put that time into practicing that you should do. So I think the scene's going great.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, how do you think the scene could possibly be improved?
I don't know. I really like the downtown concert series that goes on. I'd like to see more younger bands, play out there. I do love the classic bands that they have out there. Peggy Jenkins is brilliant. But a lot of times you'll see some of the same kind of bands play over and over. I'd like to see some different, local artists get up there and play, because they're riddled all around the street, and some of these guys need to get out of a coffee shop. You know? I've seen some incredible artists just playing for peanuts in a coffee shop, or coffee in a coffee shop. And to me, it's kind of a shame. I had a guy I do not know. He was really good, and I saw his show, and I had a cup of coffee, and I had to play my own, and he later on showed up and asked me, how I got that gig, and I told him it was just through trial and error, and when I first moved to Columbus, Georgia, I couldn't find a gig. I mean, it was tough. I ended up going to a club owner and annoying the crap out of him. I mean, I went there every day and asked him to play, and he always said no. And finally, I said, I'll play for free. Just give me a few drinks, I'll play. And he let me play, and he had a good crowd, and that really opened the doors, because then I met a few people, and then I met a few more, and I've been here now for 12 years, so I know everybody now. So.
Awesome. Now, sitting out there in TV land, and we probably have 9 or 10 viewers by now. So, sitting out there is somebody who wants to be a musician, wants to be an artist, whatever. What advice would you give to an aspiring artist watching the show?
Don't.
That's the sensible talk,
right? Now, I'll tell you what I tell kids whenever I do teach guitar lessons or whatever. I just say, don't ever shut yourself off from any opportunities. Always play with your heart. Know what you're worth, I think is a big deal.
Yeah.
You got to go out there and practice. You got to put the time in. You got to meet people. You got to play. You got to sound bad.
Yeah.
I have sounded bad, but I've sounded good.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can have one without the other.
Yeah.
I think everybody, even professional, top tier musicians have off nights.
Oh yeah.
And I think you gotta playing to 3,000 people is easy. Playing to 2 people is
hard.
Tough. It really tests your mettle too. And I've had people that are aspiring musicians and that are practicing and they're putting it out and no one's showing up. And I'm like, this is what's going to make you a better musician, because if you can entertain 2 or 3 people when it's so depressing and gloomy to do that, then you'll have no problem with the masses, So, just play from your heart, put in the time, and don't give up.
Excellent advice. Well, Jamie, I appreciate you coming on.
Brian, I appreciate it very much.
Hope you've enjoyed this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Special guest Jamie Free. Hope to see you next time. I'm your host, Brian Mallard. Stay tuned, coming up for episode 100. See you next time only on CTV EA.
Bye.
The song's by Corey Smith. It's called 21. I was only 17, couldn't wait for 21. I'd hang around down on Clayton Street, the bars here getting drunk. With a baseball cap and a fake ID would get me into clubs. And I'd dance with all those college girls, lie about who I was. See, I'm pre-med here at UGA, live on Millage Avenue. Was raised over in Buckhead, drive a BMW. I was breaking hearts, taking names and numbers just for fun, stealing kisses, wishing I was 21. Thirst just came and the pocket change quickly disappeared. Upstairs at Lowry's Tavern, we paid a nickel for the beer. Shooting pool, smoking cigarettes with a dizzy head and a grin. It was 4 a.m. on a school night. I was hanging out with my friends. 1 hour sleep on a dirty couch, no shower after school. Smelling just like a furry with a bad hangover too. And the teachers all would hassle me, still awake, pay attention. I was catching hell, wishing I was 21. youngest one of all my friends, and I didn't act my age. Was too cool for the football games and the homecoming parade. But when I look back, I have to smile, 'cause boy, it sure was fun being 17, wishing I was 21.